Nevada copper is a special asset out there, and investors really need to be looking at it closely. When you look at investment profiles and you look at other companies out there, I think we're really unique in the space, and people need to pay attention.
Joining us for a conversation is Randy Buffington, the CEO of Nevada Copper. Mr. Buffington, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Maurice.
It's a pleasure to have you join us today as we get up to date on the latest exciting developments on Nevada Copper, hosting the flagship Pumpkin Hollow project located in the world's top-rated mining jurisdiction. Before we begin, Mr. Buffington, please introduce us to Nevada Copper and the opportunity the company presents to shareholders.
Yeah, Maurice, when you look at Nevada Copper, there's several things that really stand out. The first one just being the timing with the current copper price and the long-term copper price outlook. The second part of that is the jurisdiction. There's not a better place to do business than Nevada. It's a mining state, and it has been for a long time and will continue to be that way. When you look a little bit further, this Pumpkin Hollow is one of the first, or is the first, U.S. copper producer in more than a decade. And that's significant when you look out and you look at the inventories and supplies, and you couple with that with a lot of our big copper producers around the world have some long life assets out there. And then when you look a little bit further at the asset in itself, there's really a lot of upside to the project. You have the underground, which is ramping up. You have the open pit, which is quite impressive just to look at it on the basis, which in the public data that's out there, you're looking at a district that's 60 plus billion pounds of copper that's sitting out here. And then all of the assets that are at the Pumpkin Hollow with the consolidated land package have a very significant exploration upside. There's a lot of new geophysics out here. Some of the first new geophysics that's been done since the 60s in this project. So there's a lot of upside to both the underground and the open pit. And as we look at the underground, as it ramps up and the development gets in place, it really gives us, we now have a platform to start to look at the upside in real time and develop that upside in the underground as well. The open pit is ready for a new feasibility, and it's ready to move that forward. It's permitted, right? And that's really significant when you look at operations. There's other assets out there, but having a large, long life permitted asset in Nevada is very unique to shareholders.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into the value proposition a little bit further, you recently became the CEO of Nevada Copper. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to join Nevada Copper as the CEO.
Well, I'm a Nevada resident. I was born and raised in Nevada. Nevada's home. Grew up in the ranching industry here. My family's been in Nevada since the late 1800s, so this is home. I've been in the mining industry for approaching 40 years, and I've been around the world and had that real unique opportunity that a lot of us only get by being in the mining industry. And I've worked for some really great companies. Started my career with an old company, Cominco American. Transitioned from there into another great company, Placer Dome, and from there, Barrick, and had the opportunity to work at some world-class assets and start some assets for them. Goldstrike, spent some time in Africa, and as well as working for Core and Core Mining, Hycroft Mining as the CEO, and then I took the opportunity to retire about 15 months ago. Left Hycroft as a CEO and decided to stay at home and see my wife and play with my grandchildren. And at the time I retired, Stephen, the chairman of Nevada Copper reached out to me and asked me if I was ready to come to work. And it was about 48 hours after I retired, and said, no thanks, but good asset. And I wish you luck. And about 4 to 5 weeks ago, he reached out to me again, and I took a real deep look at Nevada Copper, spent a few weeks going through it, came to the site, and was able to meet some of the board. I was able to talk to all of the board, and to really get a deeper look at the asset and what was going on out here. And it's coming out of retirement, you want something that's special, and you want something that it's not that we don't have challenges. Every operation has challenges, and especially one that's ramping up. But just to build an asset in Nevada, which is home, but to build something at this quality, intrigued me to come out of that. So it has all the earmarks. It has the open pit. It has the underground. It has the expansion potential. It's in the right community. It's got community support, and it's got a great board, and it's got a great shareholder base. So officially, I'm working on my second week, but officially I took that opportunity, and I look forward to it, and I look forward to the challenges.
Speaking of challenges, it's been a challenging ramp up for Nevada Copper with quite a high CEO turnover. What have been the greatest challenges others have faced, and what will you do differently?
I know a lot of the CEOs that have came through here, and I actually feel quite blessed to follow them onto this site. Some talented people in this business. There's a lot of challenges in this business, and if you look at the mining as a whole, and not specific to copper, we have a tendency to be really good at a few things, and that last 10%, 90% of building an operation is typically the easiest. We can move dirt, we can pour concrete, we can stand steel up, but that last 10% to transition from a construction to a producing mine, more often than not, that last 10%, we struggle to get that right. And it's a cultural shift. It's a people shift. It's you got to put processes in place, and you got to put detailed planning, and a planning that is inclusive of all of the planning tiers. I think the work, what's really been done different. Mike Brown stepped in as the CEO and came to site. And Mike is a talented guy with a lot of experience. And what he really did is he started the foundation of getting the planning framework, the constraints all mapped up and mapped out on what's going to keep us and what's going to keep from surprising people going forward. We got those. He's got those all out in place right now. They're all planned, and we've changed. We brought in some really talented people that do this for a living, both as employees and contractors. So that's really the approach that I have, is making sure that we got the right people, and making sure that we have the planning and systems in place, and making sure that we're looking far enough down the road that we can minimize surprises. We can't take back. Pumpkin Hollow was faced with COVID hit them really hard because of the ramp up. Mm-hmm. It was just one of those things. If you talk about a perfect storm, this was one of them where. You were trying to ramp up. You were bringing a lot of people in, vendors, suppliers, employees that were transitioning. And then all of a sudden we woke up one day and the hotels were shut down and you couldn't get a meal and people went home. So we're past that right now. The communities have embraced the ramp up and the startup, and are supporting us well. And that's behind us. So now it's planning and execution.
And speaking of transition, you referenced that a couple of times here. These are exceptional markets for copper producers. When do you expect to see the company cash flow positive? And when do you see the company reaching commercial production?
Yeah, we recently released the ramp-up schedule, the plan. So it's been released out there. I haven't seen anything. It still holds true. We're targeting free cash flow by early next year, and then steady state by mid-year, moving into third quarter in the late part of the year. That's out there. I haven't seen anything that changes that, but given this is my second week, I'm taking a deep look at that, and we'll review those constraints. And typically with constraints, there becomes opportunities to look at those plans as well. I think we're still on track, given that the two major hurdles that we had are behind us right now, which one was COVID and the other one was the dike crossing.
And what is the critical path to realize commercial production?
So when I step back and I look at the work that's been done, there's really a couple of things that have to happen. With an underground mine, your flexibility to deliver ore tons to the surface is really about development. So catching that development back up. And in order to do that, it's really about getting people in here and getting them mobilized back to the site to support the maintenance. We've got to provide the miners with enough operating hours to get that, and we're starting to see those improvements right now. The productivity rates are coming back up. So it's people, and then it's getting the skilled labor back into the mine site to support the ramp up. And then outside of that, as we move into the larger stopes, it's finishing the final commissioning of the paste plant. As we move into these big stopes, we need the paste plant available and ready to run, so we can turn these ore stopes up over quickly and move from one to the other and continue to build that. The paste plant is built, the paste plant has been run. It just needs to be fully commissioned.
Now, with positive cash flow months away, how's the company's balance sheet, and is there enough cash to complete the ramp up?
Yeah, I think everybody's seen the balance sheet improvements that were announced in the KfW and Paula. With those restructuring, we currently have $41 million, which we believe is enough for the ramp up. I'm an operator, so you never have enough money in the bank. But right now, I don't see any reason that we shouldn't be able to get that. And we have such strong support from Paula and KfW. I don't believe that we have any issues moving forward. But right now, $41 million is what we have enough, and I think that's sufficient to get through this.
Now, the market is focused on the ramp up of the underground mine, and rightfully so. Can you share your thoughts on the open pit and its prospects and timing?
Yeah, the open pit. If you go back and look at the PFS, there's the open pit resource is what was done at a lower copper price than what we see today and what we look at for long term. But you're looking at a resource that's 50 or 5 billion plus pounds of copper in the open pit, and that resource is understated based on the geology, geophysics. We have a large portion of inferred that a little bit of exploration pulls into there, and then a lot of upside. It's fully permitted. The mill is fully permitted at 70,000 tons per day, and it's got good copper grade, specifically in the front end of that, and it's going to get better with time. It's going to get better as we focus some exploration. The timing on that is, look, I mean, everybody wants to see the underground work and work well, so we need to complete this ramp up and get the people and get the underground working, so we can move on to the expansion, which is the open pits. So I expect to be moving towards that and setting up the budget and the process to move this to feasibility study and let the market know what really this asset looks like as we move into late next year.
Now, before we leave the Pumpkin Hollow, multi-layered question, sir. What is the next unanswered question for Nevada Copper? When can we expect a response, and what will determine success?
Yeah, it's really, I think the ramp up is well planned. I think when we look at the underground in terms of production and mine life, we talk a lot about 5,000 tons per day, but 5,000 tons is just another milestone that we approach. There's a lot of exploration upside. We know that the underground has been, the capitalization on the underground mine is being deployed so that we can go past that 5,000 tons per day. And we know that the mill can produce much more than the 5,000 tons per day. So I think getting through that ceiling that's been put out there at 5,000 tons per day. I think the other thing that that you really look at when you look at the underground is, now that we've got the development in place and we can start to deploy drill platforms and really test some of these targets, I think you'll see a substantial upgrade of the underground resource, the high grade resource, that's going to have a significant impact on the mine life.
Switching gears, Mr. Buffington, please provide us with the capital structure for Nevada Copper.
So I'll just go through it real quickly. With 185 million shares outstanding. We're currently at a share price of Canadian 104, $1.04. We have a market capitalization of $200 million Canadian. We currently sit with $130 million in senior debt. And we have cash of $9 million as reported, and $41 million available with the Paula credit facility to complete the ramp up.
In addition to that, you've finally completed the long-anticipated stock reverse split.
Yes.
And the market's responding, by the way. If you look at the share price, the market has been moving here since that's been completed. Sir, last question for you. What did I forget to ask?
Well, I don't think that you had good questions, but I think I think, Maurice, the real question is, how do we get everybody watching what we're going to do over the next 6 months? Because Nevada Copper is a special asset out there, and investors really need to be looking at it closely. When you look at investment profiles and you look at other companies out there, I think we're really unique in the space, and people need to pay attention, because we're going to show everybody what this little copper company can do as it moves from a small underground to a mid-tier producer with a resource that is in the right jurisdiction, that nobody is comparable to nobody out there right now.
Mr. Buffington, for someone listening that wants to get more information on Nevada Copper, please share the website address.
www.nevadacopper.com.
Mr. Buffington, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, sir. Wishing you and Nevada Copper the absolute best, sir.
Thank you.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.